I know what I want to talk about. Oh, hi, my name is Hugh Glaups. Nice to meet you. I want to talk about two books, Sunrise at the Reaping and Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Not in that order, but also no spoilers. First, expectations versus reality. Energy, the vibes, things that will make you excited about reading without telling you exactly what it's about. Kind of. And I dyed my hair. Do you like it? Before I even got into the story of Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, that's what we're talking about right now, I knew from the trailers there was like a love interest. That part may not be a mystery to you. When I read the trilogy in March, I realized that there was a lot of lore, a lot of things that happened in the movies and didn't happen in the movies. No one was going to tell me if I didn't read the books myself. It was catching fire that made me more excited to know, like, okay, when did the divide happen of wealth? How did the games start being so technologically advanced? When did all these little traps and mutts, science experiments, animals, hybrids, people, all these weird creatures like that do not exist? I wanted to know. And also, in a morbid way, I wanted to know how someone like Snow would fall in love. His way of loving, how would it be? Because I cannot, like now, 2026 President Snow, who's always exuding power, coldness, brutality. It was morbid curiosity. I want to know what Snow is like when he feels vulnerable, when he feels like he loves someone. Is he capable of that? I'm not gonna lie to you. The same vibe that I thought I was gonna get out of Snow, the way of him loving, it was more than I thought, but also just the right amount. I was like, yep, that seems true to his character. I was very satisfied. They're not trying to sell you a different side of him. Like, it is very appropriate for who he is and also his age. The author, Cécile Collins, is a genius. All of that got answered. I left Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes with more questions. A lot of the books, when you read them and you're done with them. Certain books, though, they make you want to know more about other characters, about the world in it and the world outside of it. Who are their families? And that is a good book. I kind of made a promise to myself. You know, a lot of us, especially now with the internet, I kind of have a little bit more patience. But even I still have a problem. I cannot eat a meal without watching a YouTube video. Like, it used to be TikTok, and definitely, like, you need both hands. You know, you need your hands for that. And it would take me forever to finish eating a meal and making a meal. So with that being said, I understand a lot of people are not into reading and a lot of people don't have the patience. I get it. Even though Snow's story was very much what I wanted and what I needed, I brought this technology conversation into place because in the book, the only thing that you have to like work through, and I think maybe I'm theorizing that maybe the reason why a lot of people didn't like that book is that the technological advances of Snow's games and like when he became a part of that world, like his storyline when he's, I think it's like 16 in the story. The technology's not quite there yet. It's not like the crazy technology that you see later in the series. You can see where the world is and what they had access to. Like, yeah, this was after a war, like very accurate, but also slower. It was very meta. I felt like I was reading prehistoric times, which is such an exaggeration. It was not that bad. It was just early technology, that's all. From your youth to later in life, like a lot of these things stay, like the things you say. Maybe the cadence of how you speak changes a little bit. Maybe you're not so animated. Like, for example, right now, I'm still quite young, but I'm not as animated as I used to be. And maybe, who knows, maybe I'll be more animated as I grow up. Less, I don't know. It'll be up to me, really, and how I decide to think. It's the little decisions that I make. Snow, on the other hand, he became cold, bitter. Let's call it what it is. He used to be not so bitter. There's a lot of callbacks. There's a lot of things he says in the now known trilogy. A lot of these things that he later says in life and echoes came from other people, and that's usually what tends to happen. Like, we tend to mimic or parrot a lot of people that we've known throughout life. I think you'll enjoy yourself. We're done with Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Now let's move on to Sunrise at the Reaping. What's that called? Something hour? Golden hour? Now we're gonna talk about Haymitch's background. Expectations versus reality. Expectations, sadness. Reality, yeah. If you're thinking, I read Hunger Games, Catching Fire, Mockingjay, and I have no closure, you'll get your closure. The author wrote Haymitch with empathy and true to the character. They all stayed very true to their character, and I think that's what makes it heartbreaking. You kind of want to know the million-dollar question: how did he become so disheveled and so angry? Almost like he seemed angry, but you still like him. He's still very likable. How is he so messy but funny? Like, what made him Haymitch? Oh, you'll get the answers. When I did my March wrap up, I said that Haymitch quickly became one of my favorite characters. I just liked his sense of humor. Haymitch is very emotionally equipped and smart to a fault, because Haymitch knew exactly what Snow was trying to do to him, and he did what he needed to do to protect not himself but the people around him. And it was a battle, an internal battle. He doesn't talk about it, okay? And it can be a problem. And this book kind of made me look at myself a little bit, maybe rethink the way that I deal with my problems. And that's what Haymitch does. He deals with it. He doesn't move on, but he deals with it. He does deal with a lot of the stuff alone. Maybe at one point it didn't have to be this way. Technology, again, technology is a huge deal here. As technology moves forward and you understand surveillance and you understand Snow basically having eyes everywhere, because Snow just has a way of targeting someone without being seen, without being heard, almost like a ghost. Like it seems like he knows everything. There's evil people that are stupid, and then there's Snow, and Snow is evil, but he's unfortunately not stupid. I really do like Haymitch, but I hate that he felt like he was alone. The last thing I'll say about Sunrise at the Reaping is that if you're expecting to cry because everyone's been crying and everyone's been sad, and you're like, I'm mentally prepared, I'm not gonna cry, or I know I'm gonna cry, whatever your expectation is, honestly, I don't know what to tell you. I expected to be sad. Now let me tell you what actually happened. I questioned if I was emotionless, if my heart was made out of stones for a second there. I was like, okay, this is all very, very sad, like, you know, but I wasn't crying. I've cried because of a book before, okay? I've gotten squishy because of books before, but not shed tears. And then I've actually sobbed for this one book. I'm not gonna talk about it today, but I'm gonna have to click on it. The Sunrise at the Reaping is 27 chapters and an epilogue, okay? I got to the end of the 27th chapter, to the end of the book, technically. Some parts I was like, oh, ow, but I was fine. But then I got to the epilogue. It was a freaking geese. In the epilogue, I was done. My hubby was sleeping next to me. I was quiet crying. I wasn't sobbing, but I was like, silent tears would not stop. And when is it going to stop? Would take my glasses off and then wipe and like, okay, resume, continue reading, and I just couldn't. Eventually I did. I finished the book. I finished the epilogue. I had closure. That's what I needed the whole time. I think a lot of people were looking for what happens after. It was bittersweet. When an author does such a good job and these characters feel so real, there is nothing you can do but treat them like real people. I loved everything about it. To conclude both books, this is what I wrote. After reading both stories, I know the entire series is a masterpiece. I love women. Also, it gave me hope knowing there's people like Suzanne Collins who can stay true to characters, their reasons, and present them in a way of understanding who they are and why they are the way that they are, without judging them for who they become. Also, it indirectly or on purpose helps you as a person decide better for yourself. If, like me, you relate a little bit too much to someone, it can help you decide better who you want to become. And do you want to follow that path? The path that might lead to certain behaviors, or what are you going to do about it? 5 stars all across the board, and you should definitely read this series in publishing order, how they came out of the womb. I really have to pee. My name is Hugh Clouds, and I will see you soon. The next books that are coming up, Chain Gang All Stars and Nobody's Girl, and that is for May, so wish me luck. Peace. I did talk about Project Hail Mary. I did see Project Hail Mary, and it was awesome. That's it.
Crazy, scary, spooky, hilarious. Crazy, scary, spooky, hilarious.